We begin this hour with the latest on the SNC-Lavalin affair. Breaking news coming from Ottawa and a new development. Former Justice Minister and Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould wants to provide more evidence to the Commons Justice Committee. As you know, she already testified before that committee once. Well, she has sent a letter to the chair of that committee, and CBC's Janice McGregor is tracking all of the information in that. What's in the letter, Janice?
Right. So just to refresh everyone's memory, on Tuesday, the Justice Committee decided it would not be calling any other witnesses, including not calling again Jody Wilson-Raybould, despite the fact that she has indicated that there might be more that she can say. So in this letter today to the committee's chair, Anthony Housefather, she is kind of proactively offering some written information. I'll just quote a couple of key lines from the letter. She said that the committee made a request for copies of text messages and emails that I referred to in my testimony on February 27th. And she said, having taken that request under advisement, I will provide copies of messages that I referred to in my testimony. And then she goes on to say that she also has relevant facts and evidence in my possession that further clarify statements I made and elucidates the accuracy and nature of statements by witnesses in testimony that came after my committee appearance. And remember, the Prime Minister's former top advisor, Gerald Butts, testified after she did and talked about things that had to do with events that she mentioned in her testimony. And we also had a repeat appearance from Clerk of the Privy Council, outgoing clerk now of the Privy Council, Michael Wernick, and the Deputy Minister over at Justice, Nathalie Drouin, after Jody Wilson-Raybould testified. So more information kept coming out after she had had those 4 hours in front of the Justice Committee. So she here is proactively offering in writing to offer additional information that can help this committee in its study as it considers and prepares its final report on this matter. But she's very clear in the letter that she needs to stick within the confines of the waiver that was provided to her by the Prime Minister. So this isn't kind of open season. This isn't necessarily everything she could say. This is just additional things she now feels she can say, if you will, in writing. And, you know, I guess for us kind of reacting to this, it's unclear how exciting this is until we see it. Mm-hmm. You know, certainly if she's offering to provide copies of specific messages she mentioned in her testimony, she's already given us the gist of what those say. But additional things she may want to offer forward based on what other people say, there could be some interesting insight and news in that. So we've been in touch with the chair of the committee. He confirmed that it is their practice to make public written submissions like this after the committee receives them. So it appears we will be able to see what she sends to them when she does. But every day it seems there's something new coming out in this story, and this is today's episode, Suhanna.
Now, you've also been watching the opposition motions, and of course they say that marathon voting session was about SNC-Lavalin. They wanted more information from Jody Wilson-Raybould, so I know you're on that angle of the story. But as for business there at the Hill, are the cots moved? The donuts, I take it, are all eaten? The sleeping bags are put away? Is it business as usual?
No. Well, yes and no. So the House resumed a kind of a regular sitting at 10 o'clock this morning. They were supposed to get down to some debate on Tuesday's federal budget, but instead what we had was a parade of Conservative MPs rising on points of privilege. And I won't even try to kind of get into all their various arguments, which were kind of convoluted and rambling at points. The speaker saying, can you get to the point? Can you raise your question? You know, not really clear sometimes exactly what the issue was that they were raising. But listen, that doesn't really matter, Suhanna. The point was they managed to fill that whole hour with these procedural wrangling type tactics, again blocking the resumption of what we would consider to be normal budget debate. Now, they did sort of go to question period, as is their practice. That should be wrapping up right around now. And then we'll see kind of what happens through the afternoon before they rise again for another week's break. But I'm sure a lot of people in the foyer after the Friday question period will be reacting to this latest letter from Jody Wilson-Raybould, and we'll be hearing from the Prime Minister later today as well.
We'll talk again then. Thank you, Janice. CBC's Janice McGregor. She is in our nation's capital.